On the Ground Parenting is a project of Muskoka Family Focus, a registered Canadian charity. They rely on your support to keep this show going and to continue their work helping families. To show your support and to make a donation, please visit tinyurl.com/OGP donate. Your support is greatly appreciated.
And welcome back to On the Ground Parenting. This is a podcast provided to you by the Parent Ed staff from Muskoka Family Focus. And my name is Sandy, and I'm joined with my colleagues,
Sam,
Kelly,
and Justin.
Woohoo! We're here. And we've been talking about there might be a lot of time to spend intensely with families coming up real soon. So how will that be for you? What have you got planned? Will you be actually getting together with other groups of people, or maybe not? But there might be space for games. So we want to talk about things that you might do, activities and recreational things outside. But when you're inside, what games do you like to play? Justin, what happens in your house with your gang?
This might not be the topic for my family. I'm a cards and games person per se, but my partner is not really that interested in those sorts of things historically. My kids, though, however, are, and so we will drag her unwillingly sometimes to the table and get her seated, and we'll play. What's big at our house are these cooperative board games. We're trying to bring the notion of competition in skillfully into the group so that everybody has a healthy relationship with self before we start bringing in winners and losers per se every time over and over again, especially when emotional regulation during the actual time of play is not a skill that is, solidified and consistent yet, especially for our 6-year-old. So yeah, a lot of these cooperative games where we're all on a shared mission to catch the thief, the fox thief, or what have you.
I think that's so wise to understand that having a winner before a child is able to understand what that means, the significance, and to be able to roll with that and to embrace the celebrating of someone else's ability or skill. So the cooperative games are a great launch for families with kids playing games.
you mean we shouldn't start with Monopoly? Like that's not the place to start? Is that what you're telling me right now? I'm kidding, because I'm sure that we've all had the Monopoly board fly across the room at some point when you're playing. I love playing games, but I'm very cautious about which games I play in my neurodivergent house because those regulation bits are still tricky at times when there's competition. But when my husband and I go and play games with our friends, it is on. There's so much competition. It is just wild. It's so extreme that we actually have easels with large poster board for Pictionary now. Like that's how into it we get.
Oh, I'm twitching. Pictionary is like my
So
fave
fun.
game.
Yeah, Sandy, you can come play with us.
So Muskoka Family Focus Parent Ed Pictionary Night.
Oh, yes, please.
Oh, and yes, even our engineer is adding a comment there that
There you
he wants
go.
to join us. So, yeah. And Justin, whether your wife wants to come or not, she's more than welcome.
No chance. Absolutely no
chance.
chance. She'll have report cards to do in July if you try that.
Or root canal.
Well, when you mentioned, Sam, about your neurodivergent kids and you're cautious about the game, well, I want to tell you that that was my parents. We all started playing and everybody was happy. But if one parent seemingly was ahead of the other, it was tough for them. So we kids were sort of, mouths open looking at our parents like, you're having a tough time with seeing your partner get ahead of you. So I could appreciate all of that.
Oh, I love that.
My one son is determined that I cheat every time we play Skip-Bo because I win quite often. I'm like, it isn't that I cheat when we play Skip-Bo, it's that I'm paying attention to what you're doing, what I'm doing, but he still thinks I cheat. So, anyways, whatever. I don't cheat.
How about for you, Kelly?
Oh, there's so much rich elements in this. I was thinking about how we pick games depending on who's at the table. And sometimes we pick a game that it's easy for everybody to play and we can sit on the couch and play across the room. Like Scattergories sometimes works well for that and you can have a large group of people. But my one niece, we call her the evil games genius because she is extremely skilled at all games and loves them. So we are not at the cooperative stage now. We are at the competitive stage where every adult tries to beat the kid and doesn't always do it successfully.
It is funny, isn't it? How there can be one person who just seems to have horseshoes, right? When it
Mhm.
comes to game playing. My friend's husband was like that. He won it, all the time. And even when you thought, when I had one card left and I was ready to get out, then inevitably, he would either have me miss a turn or I had to pick up 2 or 22 or something like that. Yeah, so recently we played Snakes and Ladders with my grandson, who is he's 4.75. He's claiming that he's 44 years old, and that brings a little bit of a chuckle for us. But he knows he's going to be 5 on his birthday. But he has this little bit of character role playing that he brings forward every now and again. But it was a good experience of Snakes and Ladders. There were a couple of times where I thought, "Oh, this might be a little bit rough for him," but I think how we handled it too. So when we had to go down the snake, we would go wee down the snake. So it wasn't as if it was going to be a horrible thing. And we talked to him about how he was, not as far ahead as he was before. So he had awareness. But just the sound effects that we made, I think helped him come into that bit of excitement. And we didn't gloat too much when we did get to climb the ladder ahead of somebody. So it was all in how we were regulating our emotions within that experience for him.
It's funny, your sound effects made me think of how we sometimes add sound effects into lots of games. Like we play a game called Talk, which is a cards and marbles. Sometimes people call it marbles. It's very similar to Trouble or Sorry. I can't remember which one, but inevitably somebody goes "Tee, tee, 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 tee," as they count their marbles, and then everybody else has to do it. So it's just silly.
Those are fun things that suddenly emerge, right? They're just spontaneous and
Mhm.
it just everyone seems to be in a little bit of a lighthearted mood when it comes to game playing. What are favorite games that happen in your household?
Well, not Skip-Bo anymore because apparently I cheat. So
Right.
But we do love a lot of card games. We do play Skip-Bo fairly often, and we take it with us when we go places because you can play it anywhere as long as you have a
Mhm.
table or a small surface. But Pictionary is very popular. Dare I say, with the adults, Cards Against Humanity is always very entertaining. But yeah, and actually during COVID, Cards Against Humanity made public a family version of the game that you could print off yourself, which was really great. It was fun. We did play that a few times. But yeah, Pictionary comes out every time we have a gathering for sure.
It's always fun to see what happens when you're drawing the pictures, how someone can get a clue with a straight line or a curve. It's
Hmm.
just hilarious
Yeah,
how that happens.
it is. It really is.
We have so many favorite games. Lillian likes to collect games. The two that came to mind instantly, one's called Happy Salmon, where you have a stack of cards and people are running around and you have to find somebody doing the same action. There's 4 actions, and once you find somebody doing the same action, you can discard the card. So it's like a 5-minute game, but it gets everybody like moving and giggling and having a good time. And I can't remember the other one. It'll come back. I'll come back to it.
But I'm making a list. You have to remember it because I'm making a list.
Sometimes it's even the recall of, when you learned how to play a game. So some of the games we're talking about that might be a little more modern, I would say, or they might be games that you learn over a period of time, something like those, like the Crazy Eights, just the deck of cards with games. And I'm thinking about euchre. And I can remember when I was maybe 11 and I was taught how to play euchre. And I can remember being outside in the summer. It was older kids at this farm, and they taught me how to play euchre. And it's a game that I continue to love to play today.
I love euchre too.
That's a fun one.
Yeah.
Hey, there's 4 of us here. We could have euchre partners.
How about you, Kelly? Do you play euchre?
We play euchre.
We could play euchre right now.
We
I do play euchre, and it's funny that I really like it, but I also have a bit of a bump against it because my mom loves to play euchre, but it only is a 4-player game. And so it's a kind of a funny game to play at Christmas when people have to sit and watch because only 4 people play.
set up tables, progressive.
Yeah, you set up tables so we had our big family Christmas gathering this past weekend, and my aunts and uncles, and my parents, everybody loves to play games and loves to play cards, and they play euchre all the time. They had a round robin going of euchre when we arrived a bit late. We had other things to do, so we didn't get to go in time to play cards. But yeah, I walked in the door and they have a round robin table. They're like, this is just very organized. I'm really impressed.
Yeah, it is though one of the things I think about with games. Is it a table game? Is it a living room game? Can it have flexible numbers? The other game I was going to mention that I've been playing since I was a Pathfinder, since I was a Girl Guide, is called Encore, and it's a singing game where you pick a word, kind of like Pictionary, in the sense that you get this word and your team has to sing a song with sunshine, and if you get that, then we have to sing a song with sunshine, and you volley it back and forth until nobody can do it, and you need like 8 words. But it's so easy to have 20 people play it, and everybody's brain, even if you don't think you know a lot of lyrics, you usually know some genre. So it just brings people together. You can play it in the living room. The laughter is big.
That's fun.
Brings to mind Pitch Perfect and their sing off or whatever they did in Pitch
Yes,
Perfect. Very similar.
I think. Yeah.
Riff
Yeah.
off. That's what it was. Yeah.
Something that I'm contemplating too, you mentioned we really need to be aware of how many people will be present and will the games include. So it might be that we have a few different kinds of games happening if the one game won't include more than X number of people. In the past couple of years online, you would see these different types of games that were sort of skill, where did you ever see the one with the roll of toilet paper that you're winding up with the glass on it?
Minute to win it games.
Yes. So those kinds of games as well too. Have any of you tried any of those?
Yes, we do those New Year's Eve. So we get together with my cousin and his wife, who happens to be my best friend, on New Year's Eve, and we do minute to win it games. It's pretty fun. Their youngest child, is so competitive. It's wild. They're just a chip off the block when it comes to their dad because he's very competitive as well. So it's really entertaining. The best part is watching them play the games, honestly.
It really reminds me of what birthday parties were like when I was a kid. So all the different games that everybody would be included in, and like teams, somebody might win, but there was nothing really that you got. You just had the status. When it comes to outside, what happens for games that you might be doing outside? Because it might be that you need that bit of fresh air, or you need that movement. And anybody have any particular game, or is it just open play? How do you handle that?
Our house in the winter, there's quite a hill behind it. So we tend to be doing toboggan kind of games. So how much can you bank? How far can you go? How many sleds can you pull together? And it just ends up being a day or a few hours of building and testing and building and laughing and those sorts of things. Just get out and play.
Same. We have quite a bit of space around our house, and a mom here on the property that is an outdoor education specialist. So the games are aplenty when it comes to outside. There's chickens here. There's dogs. There's cats. So there's lots to do. One thing that springs to mind right away is we have a long, winding downhill driveway. It's almost like 250 meters long. And there is a trench all the way alongside, or a ditch that runs along a good portion of it. And when we get to the big melt in March, We try to clear it out as much as we can. And then we do for probably half a day, more than once, if the melting is that abundant, is we do like rubber ducky races in the water, and it gets very competitive. People are building their own boats or what have you. So that's just the one that comes to mind.
For my kids growing up, we were fortunate to have friends who made some luge runs. So we would spend time over at their place, and I can still remember there was two endings that you could go down, but I never had enough control. It was just more or less wherever that tube was going, that's where I went. I didn't actually feel like I had the control to direct the tube to go to one pathway or the other. But so we've had that, and across the hill right where we live, it's a steep hill, and oh my gosh, would the kids ever go down that hill fast? And my grandsons at their property, they named this one hill Snowflake Mountain, and they were young, and so that had significance for them. And we started off with little toboggans, moved to tubes, and then I think they progressed to skiing, snowboarding, snowmobiles, how it goes as kids age. So there's a lot of activity, and at their home too. Yeah, they've got a lot of critters outside. So we really like being outside, and we snowshoe as well. So we would go off on a trek with the snowshoes, and sometimes we have a fire in the woods as well. Those are some of the things that we would have fun doing outside. I'm wondering if you have any ideas about what to introduce when, or any sort of hints or tips or be aware of as far as games, whether it's inside or outside. What would you suggest for families who might be looking for a new thing to do this year? What would your recommendation be?
I love Justin's suggestion of cooperative play to help with those regulation skills when they're younger. So I'm not sure if anyone can think of any other cooperative play games. We don't have many cooperative play games in my house, so I can't really speak to this.
One of the cooperative games that I like best is one called Wonder Woods, where you're teaming up to harvest mushrooms of different species or
Mhm.
type. And then there's a marketplace where these mushrooms are worth a certain amount each, and you're trying to gain a reward for the team based on how much capital you're able to raise from your harvesting of mushrooms.
That's cool.
That one's pretty fun, and you learn a lot about mushrooms too.
hmm
Yeah, that is.
And commerce, right? That's another
Yeah.
piece. So that's wonderful.
Yes, well, we're talking about games, and our engineer, Red Juice Studios, James, he happens to be, I don't know, maybe the most energetic, enthusiastic game playing guy that we've been talking with recently. And James, what would you like to add to this topic of games?
So when you guys were talking about games that are cooperative, I was New Year's Eve last year. I was over at my girlfriend's house, and she has a 13-year-old daughter. And she suggested a game called Talent Show. I've never heard of this before. And I think she was just making it up. But for a 13-year-old, this was absolutely one of the most wonderful, beautiful things I've ever heard. So she said, we'll write down some talents like yodeling or opera or whatever, dancing, write them down in a thing. We'll put them in a hat. And when it's your turn, you pick one out of a hat and you do your best. And everybody has to cheer like it's the best thing they've ever seen.
That's amazing.
And it was so much fun, and it was so kind and sweet of a game to make up and tell. So Violet, I know you're never going to listen to this, I'm sure, but thank you for that game. But yeah, it was like, what a great idea. Like, just write down any random, dance a jig or I don't know, rap, and then have grandpa and all the kids and mom and dad and cousins and aunts and everybody taking a turn to do something silly. And the reward that they get is that everybody has to cheer like it's the best thing you've ever seen in your life. So yeah, thanks. Back to the show.
Well, and thanks for offering that, James. I really like the fact that everyone has an opportunity for input. So to add something so that, it's relevant. You might not pull that yourself, what you put in your own idea, but at least it's in there. And I also like that everyone is cheering so exuberantly.
It sounds like it would be very fun and exciting.
I want to, I'm going to have to make sure I definitely listen to this podcast a few times so I can write down all the game suggestions.
That's a good idea.
Mhm. Well, I think that the idea behind this is recognizing that we're We're about to come into a time where it's a lot of proximity. It's intense family time together. Most people are not accustomed to being together for this amount of time. And whether it's with your own family, with extended family and friends or friends, we just want to propose that playing games is a fun way of being together, connecting. So we've already shared what's rising up for us from the ground, unless there's anything else you want to offer. Any further wisdom, Sam or Justin?
No, I think just get out there and play, whether it's indoors, outdoors, just spend some time together.
Well, everyone, it's December 24th, and whatever you may be celebrating, we're wishing you the best. We want to send greetings around the world, acknowledging that you may have snow outside, you may not have snow outside, you may be in the Northern Hemisphere, the Southern Hemisphere. I know someone who actually lives in the Southern Hemisphere and who is back home in Cape Breton enjoying the snow, her children experiencing it for the first time. So wherever you are in the world, may you have the best time together with your family and friends. Wishing you a holiday season.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye. Happy holidays.
On the Ground Parenting is a production of Muskoka Family Focus's parent education program. It is made possible by the generous donations of listeners like you. If you'd like to make a donation, sponsor an episode, or just ask a question of one of our hosts, go to linktr.ee/On the Ground Parenting. On the Ground Parenting is produced and published by Red Juice Studios. To learn more, go to redjuicestudio.com. Thanks for listening.